instead of in front of the camera.
Why?
This is a movie about us. So shut up and talk to the camera.
I don't want to talk to the camera. Can I talk to Ted over here?
Yeah, talk to Chad.
What's up,
You can
Mike?
talk to us.
All right. Does somebody want to start out with the
Sure.
who are you and what do you do thing?
Yeah. Okay, so look right into this camera here.
There you go.
Tell me your name and what you do.
My name is Robert Erbach. People call me Bo. People call me Bobo. Mike Kimball over here calls me Ted. But that's a standing joke.
What about Bo at all? You didn't mention that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Bo. Yeah, I've been called a lot of things.
What do you do?
But I'm a stagehand, and now I'm a member of Local 16. I've been in the business now for 44 years, and I've been working through Local 16 now for 30 years, huh?
Yeah, 30 years. My name is Paul Harris, and I am a stagehand.
Hang on, let me focus on you for a second. All right, come right back here. Go ahead.
My name is Paul Harris, and I'm a stagehand.
How long?
I started sweeping the floor at an audio company in North Carolina when I was 14. And just within a couple months, they started teaching me the business, and I started going out on shows. I did a couple rock tours, and then I went to North Carolina School of the Arts for theatrical production. After I got out of School of the Arts, I came to San Francisco and was lucky enough to get noticed by the IATSE Local 16, and I worked as a stagehand for about 30 years. I retired because of a career-ending shoulder injury.
I had the same thing, kind of. I moved out from New York to Denver, Colorado. I started working as a day man. I was cleaning the club at a club called Ebbets Field, which was kind of like the Bottom Line or the Troubadour in LA, 400-seat club, working for Chuck Morris, who was the promoter back then, before he moved on and started working for Barry Fay at Fayline. It was a showcase club. I mean, I was cleaning the club, cleaning the bathrooms, being a bar back, help loading in the band, setting up band gear, miking up the show. We were doing acts like that had their first albums coming out. Leonard Skinner, The Outlaws, did some of the greats like Muddy Waters, Dolly Parton, Little River Band, Tommy Boland.
Do you have a favorite show?
It's hard to say what's your favorite show.
No, they all blend together.
Yeah, I know. You work with all these great artists, and it's just like, they're just normal people, you know. We've gotten a chance to work with Robin Williams.
Oh,
He
what
was
a
a
guy.
great guy to
He
work
was a
with.
great guy.
He just wanted to be treated like a normal human being. One show that sticks with me is I got to work Mile High Stadium when Pope John Paul came to the United States for World Youth Day. I was the site coordinator for that. That was a lot of work. It was a good experience. A friend of mine, the Archdiocese of Denver, got a hold of him, Scott Calder. We were working at the time for theatrical TTS back then, theatrical theater and staging, and also for Barry Fay. It was good. I mean, we were working with the Secret Service, the Vatican. We were doing things like taking down 60-foot lighting poles in the parking lot so we could land 3 White House helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the one that.
Did you have to get us clearance from the Secret Service to work on that?
Oh yeah, everybody does.
Yeah, I had to do the same thing. My favorite show, I actually have one. It was the Broadway tour of Little Shop of Horrors that came to the Golden Gate. And it was a lot of fun. All the stagehands were encouraged to sing along at the top of our lungs. They just wanted more voices, and it was a really cool show. So, do you have a least favorite show? Or same thing, all blend together?
The least favorite thing I like to do is Hotel AV.
Brother, tell it. Testify.
You know, putting on a suit, getting on your hands and knees, you know, putting out duct tape on a cord is not my idea of a good time.
Yeah, that's rough.
Pause. What happened to your microphone?
Oh, it's lit.
Thanks, Paul. You didn't even say anything.
I didn't know.
Shut down his shirt and I just hear him scratching
Freaking
it.
sound guys. Two sound guys.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh,
Did
sorry.
you like the Hotel AV
I got
thing?
it.
I don't know what Hotel AV is.
It's doing audio visual overhead projector bullshit for talks and fucking
Wow, you just dated yourself there, Paul. Overhead projector stuff.
Overheads, yeah.
Make sure it's pointing in the.
Oh, Hotel AV. I got
Yeah.
you. A generic. Okay.
Yeah.
That's specific of
Say
it.
something, Paul?
Talk.
hello. My name is Paul Harris.
Great.
And you're not. And I'm not.
You're not what?
Paul Harris. Where were we?
Be happy.
Where were we?
Well, we were talking about how long we've been stagehands, the different shows we've worked on, and what I want to know is, what's your favorite thing about being a stagehand?
The diversity of it all the different things you get to do, it doesn't get boring. I mean, can you imagine me in a cubicle at an office?
Yeah,
It's
stalking through with an automatic rifle. I can imagine that, but
You know, staring at a computer screen for 8 hours a day and then told to go home and getting on a train with a bunch of miserable people that are doing the same thing.
So you kind of like the irregular schedule.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, the good thing about it is, I mean, you and I pretty much did the same thing. We've worked movies, TV commercials, we've worked the opera, we've worked the ballet.
We've worked
worked
the
at theaters.
exhibition floor at the
Yeah,
convention
we've
center.
we've worked great conventions. I mean, we were there when Steve Jobs held up that first iPhone.
We were there when Steve Jobs personally fired Mike Kimball. Twice. So do you have like, I think my favorite thing about being a stagehand is the camaraderie.
Oh,
My
absolutely. You
brothers
make a lot
and
of friends in
sisters.
life.
Yeah, and the work is really difficult. It's very physical and it's very demanding. I think the longest call I ever worked was about 40 hours a day on the green in Oakland.
The longest one I worked was probably 72 hours. I was out with the Rolling Stones. We were at ASU.
Give me the idiot.
ASU University.
All right, start again. The longest
Stop
show. The longest show you ever worked. I say I think the longest show.
I'd say the longest show I worked was 72 hours. I was out with the Rolling Stones. Bill Graham was a tour promoter. Barry Fay was the local promoter. We were shooting Let's Spend the Night Together. That was the documentary film that we did. We built the Wild West town behind the stage, put down dirt, had horses back there. When the
You've done a lot of work with the Stones. Huh?
Yeah, I was out on 5 tours.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I had a company which called Texas Tarps. I covered a football stadium, AstroTurf, and a lot of the band's production managers I got to know, and they would rent the cover for me. I had 2 of them cover Major League Baseball field, NFL football stadiums. I had the great opportunity to go out on the Stones, U2, Guns N' Roses, Ozzy, Pink Floyd, Paul McCartney, Genesis, David Bowie.
That's
And
impressive.
the list goes on.
Impressive list right there.
Over, what, 27 years or so before I came off the road, what, 2003?
Can I ask
Right.
you guys something?
Yeah.
What do people think about like your lifestyle? Your
They
I
don't know how
judge.
they don't know how you do it, because you know they say you don't have a normal job. You know, it's just like, what are you going to do next? And you go, well, you know, you network with people and you find out what's going on. You make contacts, and the next thing you know, you're out working again.
Yeah. Can you repeat the question?
what do your loved ones think about your lifestyle?
Oh, my loved ones. Well, that's the reason why I pretty much came off the road was because of my wife. And when I met her, I was on the road for what, about 8 years. And then with the kids and everything, it was just like, I got to stay home. And she pretty much drives the boat. I didn't let her work, and she takes care of the house and takes care of the kids, and that takes care of the grandkids. But she was good with it. I mean, I took her out on the road a couple of times. She went out on the road with me with, let's see, Dave Matthews. I took her out with Metallica. So like, I mean, I drove the semi-truck too, so I mean, we had a beautiful Peterbilt or a Kenworth, and we cruise all over the United States and have a good time.
Are you having dinner with Metallica? Are you like chilling out with the band?
No, nobody hangs out with the bands. I mean, that's a fallacy. And
You asked, like, what do people think about stagehands who don't really know?
Especially if people go on tour with these huge acts over and over and over again.
No, you're not hanging out with the band. You're doing your job, and that's the reason why you're on the tour.
Yeah, people seem to think this industry is glamorous, and for guys that do what we do, for people who do what we do, it's not glamorous at all. It's a long, hard job. Crazy hours, different every day, which is good, the different everyday thing, because I'm not a cubicle guy either. But no, we can't get tickets to a show. No, we can't sneak you in the back door. And my loved ones, my last year as a stagehand were my first years with the lady who's my wife now, and she rolled with it great, super understanding. I don't know if it would have been the same if I hadn't retired or been injured and left the business, because when everyone else is having a good time, nights and weekends, that's when we work. We're probably apt to be off on a Monday at noon. We work when y'all are having a good time, and that's one of the things I really like about my job, is that it helps people to forget their worries for maybe an hour or a half or 2 hours and sing along, or just enjoy the show. And I think that's why a lot of us do what we do.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's a lot of things. You go out on the road, and you're up at 7:30 in the morning, you'll get off of a bus, you'll have your breakfast, you'll be unloading 20 semis or maybe 2 semis or whatever, and then you're in there getting the show up, maybe go back to the bus or back to the truck, get a couple hours of sleep, do sound check, do the show, do the loadout, take your shower, get back on the bus.
Maybe get
Maybe
3
it's
hours.
maybe 3-4 hours
Maybe
of sleep,
3 hours.
and you're doing 200 miles, and you're going to the next arena or club or wherever, and you're getting back up, and then on your day off, you're doing 600 miles on the bus.
Do you feel appreciated?
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
By who?
the people that you're working with. There, you show up into a town, and they're glad to see you. The band you're working with. And you're there having a good time all day. It's, yeah, it's work, but I mean, it's fun, and everybody knows their jobs. And
We have to have fun at work. We have to laugh. Stagehands, really nothing is sacrosanct. We rip on each other all day long, and it's hilarious. And the people we do it with are people we respect, people we like and respect. And there's, it's good when everyone is working well. It's like a beautiful choreographed ballet. I've done loadouts before where so much is happening in every plane, behind you, above you, things coming in, things going out. Everyone's focused on their job. Everyone's doing a terrific job, and we're well known throughout the country as some of the fastest loadout times for the show. I personally think Local 16 is the best local in the international.
Yes, it's
I've been
definitely
around to a
one
lot
of
of
the best.
cities and stuff, Of course, there's New York and Chicago,
The guys down in LA are real good.
Yeah, I mean, there's great stagehands all over the country, but we seem to have a concentration of incredibly talented people.
How has diversity in the workplace affected the way you joke with each other at work?
Greatly, greatly, because
Marie, state that.
Like,
30 years ago, the way we joked with each other at work was not appropriate. And I think that nowadays, with diversity, which I'm super glad we have, I myself have brought 3 ladies and I think 4 people of color into the local. When I worked with them on a job somewhere and said, I think we need you because you're a good worker.
But even before that, I mean, you had to take a blind man's attitude towards everything, and it was just about the work ethics of the person you were working with.
That's,
You know, you use your ears. You know, it kind of.
see, because I think I speak for Bo here. We don't care. We couldn't care less. If you show up on time, have your tools, and work hard, then
Yeah.
we will get along with you great.
Yeah, if you're not doing your job, then you're going to get dumped on.
Yeah.
You know, if you see me working, I see you working.
Well, that's what you have to have, is that faith in your brothers and sisters that I'm in this part of the room, the convention center, the theater, working as hard and fast as I can to get out, finish the load out, and go home to our loved ones. And I know that Bo's doing the same thing. He's in another part of the venue. He's working towards the same goal as I am.
And if you don't know something, if somebody's your brother or your sister, they're usually there. You can go to them and say, help.
Yeah.
I need help.
Well, when I was a grommet, I would, during slack times, go to other departments and just say, teach me something. You know, teach me a knot. Teach me about this department. I specialize in electrics and lighting,
Right.
power distribution. And people, I think, in this industry are eager to teach because we want the next generation
That
to
was the good
continue
thing
the
about-
tradition of excellence.
That was a good thing about Local 16.
Don't
And they-
interrupt me, motherfucker.
That was a good thing
I
about.
was
Shut
shooting
up!
some good game here, man. Dropping science and shit. Shut the fuck up.
That was the good thing. That was the good thing about Local 16. They made you learn everything in the beginning when we were coming up.
but
When
what,
we
what
were
about,
apprentices.
So you know, and now you got a lot of people that are specialized. But like when we came in, they made you learn all the departments. They made you learn. Well, if everybody has to learn how basic rigging, because I don't care whether you're flying speakers or whether you're flying lights in the air or you're flying video screens. Everybody has to know something about basic rigging. Everybody has to know about power, 3-phase service. You know, if you, even a little bit more if you're doing 480, 277 delta and you're going to 208Y. And you have to have a great respect for the power that we're running out there. We're running, you know, 150 kV transformers out there doing 400 amps a leg.
I know that when I was an apprentice, I got sent through almost every bit of work that we do. I did hotel AV work, I did theatrical work, I did movie work, was lucky enough to get work at Industrial Light and Magic. And I think combined with the homework and classes that we had, that, you know, if you don't know a lot when you join us, you will after you finish your apprenticeship.
Absolutely.
but do you think that women have the same opportunity to learn as men do in your union?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
I absolutely do. I
Can
think
you say that in a sentence?
I think that everyone has the same opportunity to learn in our local, no matter what your gender or any of those other ones.
It's
race,
not your
creed,
gender,
religion.
your sexuality, or
Yeah.
anything. I mean, we're in San Francisco. Nobody
We've
cares.
seen it
Nobody.
all.
We've
Nobody
seen it all.
cares.
Nobody cares. You know, I mean, if you go out with a monkey, if you want to swing from a tree, you know, nobody cares. As long as the monkey's good with it.
And you get a good rate for the monkey. We're gonna pay him over scale.
So you're all about consent.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Why is a union important to you? A union.
It gives you great opportunity. It gives you security. I mean, all the years even before that, you know, you're not going to get rich working for a concert promoter. you know, or a independent film company, but you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to move on. That was one thing that Bill Graham always said. You know, this is a learning opportunity and a stepping stone for you.
Yeah.
Are you willing to pass on the trade to your younger generation? And how do you make sure that more people are willing to pass on their trades?
Other people that come in that are interested in doing it, you know. I mean, my son's done it, but he does other things, but he came in when he was 17, and he learned. He was out on a couple of TV shows, and it's good that new people keep coming in to learn.
Talk a little bit about substance and alcohol abuse in the industry. Have you had it? Have you seen it? Has it affected your life?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, being out on the road doing rock and roll from the 70s, you know, through the 80s, I mean, it was absolutely crazy. I mean, everybody was doing everything,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, people, including myself, we do a lot of drinking and whatever.
I actually see a lot less substance abuse now than there was. I mean,
In this
everybody
industry,
goes
yeah,
out and
not
has
what's going on in America at this moment.
No, but in this industry.
But in this industry, no, it's not accepted anymore.
You go out, you have
And,
a couple beers.
yeah, you can go out and have a couple of beers, smoke some weed,
Yeah.
but not at work.
Right.
Do you think
It's not like that. It's not like that anymore. Plus, I mean, you know, it's bad enough when somebody gets hurt and nobody's drinking and nobody's doing drugs. And there's been some very bad injuries in the business, and you're sorry to see it. You know, I mean, I've been one that's gotten hurt.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah. Tell us about injuries. If you've had
my
surgery.
injuries. Okay, I've torn this bicep that had to be repaired. I popped this bicep off on the other side. I had rotator cuff. I've had problems with my lower back for 30 years, but I've always had to watch where I take glucosamine sulfate, and MSM, and chondroitin, and hyaluronic acid, just to keep more synovial fluid between my discs. Both my knees have been operated on for a meniscus. I was hit by a forklift that took off one Achilles heel, the other one got torn. I was out of work for a year for that.
What are you, fucking unlucky or something? That's I mean, we've heard
I'm
about
Humpty Dumpty there,
injuries,
Paul.
but that's a
Humpty
lot
Dumpty.
of injuries.
Is this the price of working for entertainment?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure there's the same amount of injuries in the construction trades and a lot of the other trades, you know, accidents, you know, electrical accidents with high voltage. Things happen, you know. It's life.
It's
You
the
get back up
business.
on your feet and you go.
Yeah. I think everyone, whether they say it or not, has that ethic of the show must go on. And I think that we all